All right, to get this party started today, I'm gonna show you a picture of me as a kid. I'm sure you could care less, but humor me I'm showing you this picture for a reason. This is me with my grandma. You may think that I was a kid that cared a lot about what I looked like. The truth is, I didn't really care, not even a little bit. My goals for the day were always very simple. Survive school, hang out with my friends, and eat. I literally never thought about anything else, let alone impressing people. I never felt self-conscious about my appearance at that age. I didn't pay attention to how other people looked either or judged their body compared to mine. I just lived my life. You probably have a picture like this because like me, there was an age for you, even if it was a young one, when you didn't worry about what you looked like and you didn't think about what people around you looked like. You were more innocent than you were self-conscious. You were more carefree than you were insecure. You were more concerned with playing than you were with appearances. But then there's a day when all that changes for all of us. At some point, there's a day or a moment when things shift. All of a sudden, we become more aware of how we see ourselves. More than that, we become conscious of how others see us, and boom, just like that, everything changed. This happens at a different age for all of us. At some point, we all go from innocent children who could care less about what we look like to young adults who are very aware. And that brings us to the topic that we're going to talk about today, which is body image. Here are some quick definitions of body image. Body image is how you see yourself when you look in the mirror, or when you picture yourself in your mind. It includes what you believe about your own appearance, including your memories, assumptions, or even generalizations. How you feel about your body, including your height, your shape, and your weight. For the record, body image isn't just a girl thing. Not even a little bit. It's definitely a guy thing too. Also, it's not just a teenager thing, it's an every adult ever thing. Almost everyone deals with this in one way or another in their lives, which makes this a human thing. At some point, we all think about our bodies. And at some point, we get consumed by those thoughts. We have a specific way that we view ourselves, and we have a specific way that we think that other people view us. And this can center around any number of things like our height, muscle mass, hair, acne, our skin tone, even how much we weigh. These are normal body realities that all people deal with. But for you, as young adults, they're often complicated by other situations. For example, your body image is definitely affected if you're the first one to hit puberty and you develop faster than everyone else. Or if you're the last one to hit puberty and you develop slowly. I've been there. I was a senior in high school when I hit puberty. If your hair was different, your size was different, your skin, people around you all noticed everything. If you're not as strong or as fast, your body image can take a hit. If you're considered pretty or stylish, there's pressure on you to feel that way. If you feel stressed to maintain your status by the way you dress, post, or look, that can definitely affect your body image. All kinds of factors go into play when it comes to body image. And that's a big deal, and it does matter. We might wonder why. Who cares what people think? Well, it's because I think deep down we're all just trying to figure out an answer to this big question. How should we feel about our bodies? Trying to figure out how we should feel about our bodies and why we have certain insecurities is exhausting. And searching for an answer causes all sorts of thoughts and actions in our lives. So if this question is impacting the way that we think, live, and feel, then we should see if there's a way to find a truly fulfilling answer. Thankfully, something written a long time ago that we can find in the Bible gives us a chance at finding a helpful answer. It's in the Old Testament, it's in the book of Psalms, and it's basically a collection of poetry to God about emotions, worship, pain, relationships, nature, etc. It's a journal to God written by King David, the most famous king of Israel. His life was like a movie. He went through many ups and downs. In this one poem, King David said this. He said, "Search me, God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts." Why did David pray this? Why did he ask God to search him? Because he was a human being like the rest of us, and he had anxiety. And just like us, he struggled to know what to do with those thoughts. And because he didn't know what to do, he asked God for help. Then he continued by saying this. He said, "See if there is any offensive way in me." This was a key phrase to an add-on to the first part of the prayer. David asked God to help him to see if there was any offensive way in him. So not only did he want to recognize his anxiety, he wanted God to help him know which ones were offensive and which ones were healthy. But think about this verse. In light of what we are talking about today and talking about our bodies, God made us with a body. Our bodies are good. So when David asked God to search him and see if there's any offensive thoughts, he means which ones were hurtful to God, which ones were hurtful towards the way that David saw himself, which ones were in total opposition to the way that God saw David, which ones would be offensive if David said them to someone else. When it comes to body image, you and I need to examine our thoughts. We need to know which ones are offensive to God and what makes a thought offensive to God. One that doesn't reflect what God thinks, right? Like maybe I'm an idiot, I'm gross, I'm ugly, I look awful, I'm too weak, I'm too fat, I'll never look as good as the people around me. This is offensive to God. Why? Well, for one, because God made you, but also because God knows your thoughts need to be taken seriously. Our thoughts impact our actions, our attitudes, our way of being in the world. God created us in His image, and He loves us. If we're not able to embrace the we that God created us to be, then we're going to struggle on our own because we're not reaching out to Him for His help. And if you're struggling reaching out to just Him, try someone that you trust. Try some coaches or some teachers or your pastor or small group leader. Talking about this stuff can get complicated. That's why it's so empowering to get to the end of this passage and see what King David says last. And lead me in the way everlasting. The way everlasting is God's way. It's choosing to think about ourselves in a way that lines up with the way God feels about us. And David wrote something else that helps us get a clearer picture of how much we mean to God. He wrote, "I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full and well." David is saying that God created us and our bodies, and we're crafted and designed by God, and God loves us just as we are right now. God has placed incredible value, worth, and honor in our lives. Every single one of us was created by God and given worth and value that are more than we're ever able to imagine. And nothing can change that truth. And that means instead of obsessing over our bodies like that's the only thing that matters about us or the most important thing about us because a billionaire beauty industry tells us so, we remember that God sees us as more than just a body and what we look like on the outside. Instead of treating our bodies like they don't matter at all and they're just something that we have to put up with, we remember that God made us with a body and our bodies are good. They are the way that we experience the world. God is okay with our bodies. We know this because God sent Jesus in body to earth to have a human experience. Instead of striving and struggling to become whatever image we have in our minds, unhappy with ourselves until we achieve the standard of perfection, we can embrace life, cherish it, and make the most of the time that God has given us. We can choose to think about our bodies in a better way. And I struggle with this every day. And just hearing these verses that I read today won't automatically make the struggle go away. But there are things that we can do, like take David's perspective with us in everyday situations. For some of you, those negative thoughts stem from your body image, may have led you down a destructive path. This might be the big step that you need, but maybe today is the day for you to have a one-on-one conversation with your small group leader. They will love you, not judge you. For you, the number one way to be kind for yourself. You deserve that type of help, and you need to know that you're worth it. Just imagine if you started to see yourself, your mind, your body, your whole self, the way that God saw you. What if you started to see your body not as a problem to be solved or ignored, but also as the most important thing about you? Instead of, what if you started to see your body as part of what it makes you, how God made you? Wouldn't that be feeling more joyful than the way that we do when we put ourselves down? Let's all start by making one simple decision: to be kind to ourselves.